Okay, the U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement, ICE, has taken another life in Minneapolis just maybe 2 hours ago. You can go online, you can see the footage. It's from a distance, but it's disturbing. So the guy had a GUN, okay? But the footage I saw, about 6 of those ICE agents, with their heads wrapped, they look like gang members. They got their face covered, and they were just jumping this guy. It was like they were beating him up, and then he pulled the gun, and one of them popped him. I mean, that's what it looked like. It didn't look like a law enforcement. It didn't look like, and I try to be pretty even keeled on here. I definitely make videos exposing police, but I'm not always talking crazy about the police. I mean, this didn't look even like people trained, it didn't look like police struggling with someone they're trying to arrest. It looked like a group of guys jumping on a guy who then tried to pull, and then they got down on him. And that's because maybe they aren't trained. These ICE guys that are you get a $50,000 signing bonus, and you're coming off the street, and I don't know, 8 weeks of training, 6 weeks of training. They're not getting much training. Someone in the leave a comment, please, about how much training they're getting. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. So, Minneapolis is getting wild. So, if you don't know the backdrop, of course, about a week ago, there was the shooting of the woman Renee Good by ICE. She DIED'd. The FBI Department of Justice assigned the FBI to you at least have to investigate all officer-involved shootings. And this was I always used to make a joke. Well, let me finish my thought. Renee Good, the FBI officer assigned to investigate ICE's shooting of Renee Good, she resigned because she was getting so much pressure to exonerate, to basically end her investigation before it even started, and to exonerate ICE. It's like they just want to have carte blanche. So that led to the events of the last several days, where thousands of Minneapolis businesses have closed, and tens of thousands of Minnesotans and probably people that came in from other places have flooded the street to demand ICE leave the state. And in the wake of today's loss of life of yet another person at the hands of ICE, which again, to me, in the video clip I saw, it looked like people jumping on a guy. It was like a gang fight, and he tried to pull out, and they got him. If he even pulled out, it could be a fake gun. A plant. Who knows? So this is bad. Tim Walz, the Minnesota governor, has gotten on the phone, told Trump, ICE has got to go. The Minneapolis police and ICE are somewhat starting to have stare-offs. Federal, it's not as clear cut as federal supersedes. It's not necessarily the FBI comes into a city and can tell, we take over the case. Local agencies let federal agencies take over cases. As far as ICE, and then ICE isn't doing it's the legality of all this is, it's in the courts. People are not happy. The communities that have had a bunch of ICE agents in it. And remember, I'm one of those people that says, theoretically, if you're grabbing people that are here illegally, hey, I don't have a problem with the theoretical idea of grabbing people that shouldn't be here. But the way they're doing it, it's reminiscent of, I'm not going to make historical allusions. It's 2026. It's a new world. But Does Trump have a plan to stir up things like this on the street so he can declare some type of martial law and hold the country under martial law? Is that what he thinks? I think that Trump has now created such a complex whirlwind of social change. It's beyond his capacity to foresee what's going to happen and what his decision making is doing. I don't know if you've watched any of his speeches lately. He's getting to be not much better than how Biden was sounding at the end. I mean, he hasn't quite gotten that bad, but I mean, he rambles and just says nonsense. Listen, I told people when Trump got elected a second time, it's going to end badly. Now, before you get too worried, or well, you should be worried, but let me give an asterisk, or just let me contextualize this for you. In the late 60s and early 70s, things were much wilder. There were bombings going on. There were many police being victims of homicide from black and white. Radical groups getting let off. Bombs were going off in the cities. At Kent State, National Guards gunned down four college students for protesting at the campus. So, sorry. So things have definitely been much wilder than they are now, but it could get out of control fast. So Minnesota people are in the streets. They want ICE out. This guy apparently was at a protest. I don't think that this was ICE doing grabbing somebody to put out. He was 37 years old. I think he was at the protest and they jumped on him. They were beating him. He was on the ground. It was like a Rodney King or just like a gang jumping. From what I saw, I didn't see the whole thing. I don't know. This is a rapidly developing story. By the time I get over to Soho House, some more stuff will have happened. I'll give you some more analysis and update. But it's getting hot in Minnesota. If we see a standoff shooting between, well, if ICE refuses to leave, what is Minnesota Police Department going to do? The governor is heated. And I know we've all had our attention on the so-called Somali fraud. Let me tell you something. We're living in the land of fraud. If you caught some of them Somalis doing fraud, lock them up, take them out of the country, whatever. That's the idea that that's America's problem or that's Minnesota's the biggest issue. It's all, the economy has become a giant rug pulling fraud. Just wait till this AI stuff doesn't really turn out to be quite as useful as the amount of money that's been put into it. You're going to hear about allegations of fraud and bailout on a high level, but that's another topic. So the FBI agent investigating the unaliving of Renee Good by ICE last week quit her job because she wasn't being allowed to do it. She was being pressured to not investigate ICE. ICE is now taking out another person. The video I saw looked like them jumping on a guy. They've produced a picture of a little 2.5 that he supposedly had, but I heard one shot in the video I saw. It was ICE popping him. Look for some heavy action. Trump is trying to cause something to happen. That is his goal with putting ICE in these cities. He knows you have large amounts of poorly trained guys in mass. If you want to do something as a citizen, if someone you know is one of these ICE goons, I don't have a problem with the regular ICE agents who are doing their job, but all these new guys they hired that are just goons covering their face like the whores they are. If you know, out them. Let us know. Who are these people? Police officers show their face. Why shouldn't these guys be showing their face? Are you not scared that there's a police, a militarized police-like entity roaming the country with their face covered, just grabbing people? They've now killed 3 people in Minneapolis because they killed another person during the week who I think, had a weapon. Maybe that might have been legitimate. I'm not sure. But the woman they shot. So now we're letting them. I always used to joke when they start shooting, when they start killing white women in public, none of us have been trained by movies or anything to like be able to process that, right? It's supposed to be the people at the margins, and white women are the sacrosanct, that's what America's here to protect. I mean, I would joke and say, oh, when they start killing white women on TV in public, the revolution has arrived. Well, they did it with Renee Good, and they're not even wanting it to be investigated. And now, to start the weekend, it looks like they jumped on a guy. He was fighting back, and boom, they got him out of there. So more updates in a little while. But I advise you to go look and see what's happening. Al Prophet, American Dope.